Hey guys, Dr. Ben here. Welcome to a Power Pack Brokerpreneur Byte. Get ready to dive into proven strategies for recruiting top talent, retaining your best agents, and skyrocketing sales in the next 10 minutes. I'm your host, of course, Dr. Ben Spears, along with our real estate guru, Matt Vi. Join us as we unravel the secrets to take your brokerage to new heights. Let's dive in.
Awesome. We have a great topic today, something that's very, near and dear to my heart, definitely, because coming from a marketing background.
Yep.
But guys, don't think this doesn't apply to recruiting, because this is enormous.
Yep.
When it comes to meeting people and actually qualifying agents before you even start reaching out to them.
Completely agree. And it's such a cool topic here. So we're gonna actually approach it from a couple different directions too. We're gonna talk to the audience about how they could create some bait that they could use to attract some people recruiting wise.
Yep.
But we're also going to give some really specific examples of how we put bait out there on a regular basis to get people to engage with us, because that's really what it's about, right? It's about getting people to raise their hand and say, hey, I want to talk, right?
Yeah, gosh, I bring this guy's name up all the time, and I read his book up all the time, and I never can remember his name.
Donald Miller.
Yeah, Donald Miller. I need to put a Post-it note on there. But he talks about the other than a person's cash, their email address is the second most valuable currency.
Absolutely.
And so once you get that, you can't think twice about, oh gosh, do they really want to hear from me? Do they really want to engage more with my brand or my company or just me as a broker? No, if someone gives you their email address in trade for something, that's them saying, yeah, reach out to me and talk to me about whatever.
And this is how we are with everything, right? We honestly believe the highest level of success for a person, this is directly from the Go-Giver, okay, guys, that they should receive more value from you than what they gave. As long as they do that, you're going to continue you're going to continue on a path of a great relationship with them. So what we want to do is we want to talk a little bit about bait and how you can use it the right way. And we're actually we're going to touch a little bit on how to not use it. We're going to make sure that we discuss that too. But so number one on bait though, before we dig into that, you have to authentically know who you are. We talk about this all the time. You got to have a real good idea of who you are. So let me give you a great example, right? Some bait that we just coached somebody on putting out there was they wanted listing agents. Okay. So that's part of what they needed to work on in their company. So we were discussing some of the ways that they could appeal to listing agents. And they were having conversations in their appointments and through their appointment process. Part of their script, as we started to dig into it, is they were talking about leads. Right.
Yep.
And they were being specific about what type of leads and what type of prospecting that they help their agents do. So what that basically meant was the lowest hanging fruit on leads is buyer leads, right? Anybody with a credit card can buy those, and you don't even have to have a credit card to start getting those.
Yep.
But in the conversation, they weren't authentically telling the person what they really wanted to do. They really wanted to hire people and train them to be better listing agents. And so their bait wasn't appealing to that. So one, you got to be authentic to who you are, right? Don't say you can do something that you can't do. Don't put bait out there that people are just going to expose that you're not who you are, number one. And number two, make sure that your bait is intentional to the audience that you're dealing with, which kind of brings us to this first bait, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we call that the starter bait, right? Because it's broad. I won't say it's vague, but it's broad. You're casting a large net, and you're really just saying who's interested. And this is a good bait to put out to just be like, who in my market clicks on stuff.
Right. Yeah, and that's the ones that you're going to run those blind ads to, right? You're just going to throw it out there to everybody. So like I said at the beginning of the podcast, this is a really big topic, and we're going to try to compartmentalize it, right? So if you're a broker and you really want to help your agents get more business, create some good bait that they can put out on social media that causes people to start engaging with them, right? But make sure it's authentically you, make sure it's branded the way it should be. Sometimes branding shouldn't be on bait, but that's a whole different conversation. But you're putting things out there that are helping your agents become better at driving business, at getting leads, right? So that's one thing that you can do. The other thing that you can do is you can put bait for recruiting, right? You can put stuff out there that is saying things specifically. Here's 3 listing strategies that are gonna net you more listings over the next 60 days. If you really have 3 strategies, if you really have 3 tools in your office that do that, absolutely, that's some bait that you should be putting out there to see who's interested in being in your company that way.
Yeah, absolutely. The and think about it this way, guys. If you have 3 different types of baits, something for recruits, something for buyers, something for sellers, then I guess you could say a fourth would be investors. But you essentially have a bait to bring someone in your office. Then you have a bait for once they're in there to provide them value to get business into their business. And then on top of that, the most underutilized, and we won't get into this any more than what I'm talking about here, the most underutilized part of advertising online or with ads or with lead magnets or bait, as we're calling them, is a pixel.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because honestly, yes, you can cast these broad nets and spend 10, 15, 20, 50, $100 a day should you want to just say, okay, every realtor in my area, or as an agent, every buyer in my zip code, everybody that lives in my zip code. But if you're driving these people to, if you send an ad out to 100,000 people and it costs you roughly $1,000 to reach all of them once,
mm-hmm.
If they click on that and they go to your website or they go to wherever that lead magnet is hosted, you can now retarget only the people who click.
Right.
Now you're saying, okay, 100 people, 100 agents or 100 buyers or 100 sellers or whatever clicked on that. I can reach those people once a month for $1.
Right.
That's how, from a recruiting standpoint, that's how powerful this is gosh, guys, if you get 100 agents in your market clicking on your baits and actually going to your website and you're tracking that, you can start hitting these people 4, 5, 10 times a month for $5 to $10
for nothing. Right.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, such a great point. And guys, you I think we've said this, right? But Ben's kind of a guru at this. He absolutely has a very good head for this and the tracking and all that kind of stuff. Whenever it comes to the bait and the pixel and all that kind of stuff and everything, I'm not the one that knows that. So if y'all have questions about this, y'all got to reach out to Ben, is what I'm trying to nicely say here. If you send me an email and say, hey, Matt, I want to talk about retargeting a pixel, I'm just going to have to forward that email. So
YouTube, and then I'll forward them to YouTube. No, I'm just joking. Absolutely, everybody reach out. I'm more than happy to have that conversation with anybody.
Yeah, nice. So that starter bait is getting somebody early in discovery, right? That's somebody that's, you're buying ads and you're retargeting. They quickly have to, here's the key to this one, they quickly have to go to a nurture program. They quickly have to go to something that is automatically following up with them, staying in front of them, stuff like that. If part of your recruiting process is getting new agents, then some of that bait that you're going to use is how to hold your first open house, right? If you're trying to get experienced agents, it's going to be how to hold an open house in your geographic farm, right? That's two completely different things. It's both open house. You're going to change the content. You need to be smart about what you're doing, but that's two completely different things that you're trying to accomplish with that. And when it comes to that starter bait, getting them to initially raise their hand, you need to make sure that it's something that's really going to deliver some value to them and what they're trying to do with their business.
Yeah, you're exactly right.